One Piece Chapter 1126 dropped recently, and, as expected, the focus on the Revolutionary Army continued, even though the group themselves were not present in the chapter. These are critical times for Monkey D. Dragon and his army, and this is simply down to the fact that they have essentially declared full-on war on the Celestial Dragons, and there is no going back from here. Dragon's War is going to shake the foundations of the very globe, and it will be extremely fascinating to see what results this revolution bears. Obviously, it was revealed in One Piece earlier that Dragon had essentially laid siege to the Holy Land of Marijoa. Now, how this siege is going and what Dragon did to make it as effective as it is has been revealed to the fans, and it is safe to say that the leader of the Revolutionary Army has thought things out very well. The Revolutionary Army commanders attacked Marijoa. The attack of the Revolutionary Army against the Celestial Dragons began with One Piece Chapter 902. The Revolutionary Army was finally ready to launch their offensive, and they did so by having 4 of their top commanders, namely Sabo, Morley, Karasu, and Lindbergh, infiltrate the Holy Land of Marijoa during the Reverie. During these events, the Revolutionary Army commanders were given 3 objectives. The first objective was to destroy the hoof of the Celestial Dragons, which lay within the Holy Land of Marijoa and is a symbol of their power. This mission was successfully accomplished. The second goal was to destroy the granary of the Celestial Dragons to essentially rid them of the food that they had. Once again, this was a job well done for the commanders of the Revolutionary Army. The third and final goal for the commanders of the Revolutionary Army was to free Bartholomew Kuma, and along with him, as many slaves as possible. Once again, this was something they succeeded in, and all in all, the operation of the Revolutionary Army commanders was incredibly successful. The commanders managed to escape after the conclusion of their mission, and from there onwards, Dragon took his plan one step further, which is something that fans are greatly intrigued by. Essentially, the next step from here onwards was to make use of what the commanders gave to Dragon. The most important thing they did was destroy the granaries in the Holy Land. This meant that they did not have any food and would require food coming in from external sources. These would be foreign countries who would send food as aid, or the government simply getting the usual stocks of food delivered. However, the big plan was for Dragon to lay a massive siege and give his commanders the charge of destroying all the cargo heading towards Marijoa. Fans did not know how successful this job was, but One Piece Chapter 1126 has now revealed to them just how effective Dragon's siege has proven to be. How the Revolutionary Army crippled Marijoa. The Revolutionary Army are not letting any food to get to Marijoa in One Piece Chapter 1126. It was officially revealed that Dragon has successfully managed to starve out the Celestial Dragons. Of course, they still have some amounts of food. However, at this rate, the Celestial Dragons are going to starve, which was confirmed by Lafitte himself. Lafitte was called by Blackbeard in the chapter to give an accounting of how the Revolutionary Army's siege was going. He clearly mentioned what was going on, and things looked to be greatly in the favor of the army. As things stand, the Revolutionary Army commanders have made it so that there has been a successful blockade around Marijoa. Most of the ships are not even allowed to get close to Marijoa or the Navy HQ in the New World, as was expected. It appears that the commanders of the Revolutionary Army have been relentless in pursuit of these ships and destroying them as they go. Even if some ships manage to go through, which appears to have been the case a bunch of times, the gondolas that take the food up are essentially destroyed, which means the Revolutionary Army might be close by and see to it that no food actually reaches up. This is a brilliant strategy from Dragon, and it essentially starves out the Celestial Dragons, building their frustration and weakening their resolve as well as their defenses. All this simply means that the Celestial Dragons cannot sit idly and would have to act if they are to survive and remain in power as the rulers of the world. They have to respond with force, but whether or not that will happen soon is something that fans will have to wait and see over the upcoming chapters. Dragon's next step in the war against the government. Dragon plans on destroying the God's Knights next. Dragon has played his basic cards in the war against the Celestial Dragons already, which means that the next move isn't his to make. Clearly, Dragon now has to sit back and prepare for a war that is going to come to him. The world government simply cannot let the siege be. Clearly, their goal will be to mobilize the navy, and along with that, the God's Knights. Dragon himself mentioned that the God's Knights are going to be the biggest foe that they will face and the one that they are anticipating right now. Dragon was clearly wary of them, which means that their level of strength is likely going to be very high. The God's Knights will descend from the Holy Land of Marijoa, simply because the siege has lasted for way too long and celestial dragons up there are starving. Once the God's Knights come down, they will have to trade blows with the Revolutionary Army, and in their eyes, two main targets will be the focus, those being Dragon and Sabo. The war that these characters will be fighting is certainly going to be exquisite and of the highest order. Fans would love to see the abilities of Dragon and his Revolutionary Army commanders in full swing. And, hopefully, as the siege progresses and the God's Knights and the Navy make their move, Dragon will finally show what a monstrous fighter he is. All fans need to do now is sit back patiently, let the war build up to the boiling point, where everything will finally start blowing up, and readers will be treated to a spectacle in terms of fight, and at the same time, major reveals of power from the Revolutionary Army members. All that will successfully go down in the Elbaf arc of One Piece.